The Assembly seat that once belonged to Rangel. Keith Wright is also the chair of the Manhattan Democratic Party, and he has been a loyal supporter of the so-called Dean of New York's congressional delegation throughout this controversy. Assemblyman, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure to join you here tonight, Liz.
So we just had this a little bit strange press conference. Charlie Rangel came out and said he would really love to speak to the press. He's never really been at a loss for words, but there's not a whole heck of a lot he can say because these charges won't be made public, if you will, until next week. And I understand you spoke with him directly after that press conference. So what did he say to you?
Well, he just said he thanked me and the rest of the folks in his district for their strong support. Again, he reiterated that there really is not a whole lot for him to say, but he is upbeat. He's strong. He's talking about he's happy that the charges will finally get a full and thorough airing. If you recall, Liz, Congressman Rangel, was the one that actually put forth the effort of the Ethics Committee. He invited the Ethics Committee in to review these so-called allegations. Now, the Ethics Committee took over 2 years to look at these allegations. I can tell you this: it should not have taken so long to review these allegations, but so be it. And now the Ethics Committee is bumping it up to the next level.
Don't you think this timing a little strange? I mean, obviously some big ticket items have passed Congress of late. You saw health care reform was a bit ago now, and then just this week you saw the president sign into law the financial regulatory reform bill. Every vote has been counting when you see these things, more so in the Senate, of course, than in the House. But now all of a sudden, 8 weeks before the primary, the Ethics Committee, which, as you noted, 2 years, has taken this chance to sort of say, here, and dump this on Congressman Rangel. Do you believe that this means that Nancy Pelosi and the leadership in the House are really done with him, would like to prefer to see him out?
Oh, no, I would not say that at all. I would say that the timing is, in fact, awfully suspicious, that all of a sudden now the allegations will be bumped up to the next level. The midterm elections are forthcoming. Everyone's talking about how much of a loss the Democrats will sustain, or whether or not they will keep the majority in the House of Representatives or not. It just seems awfully suspicious that after you have 2 years of being able to vet this whole process, vet all of these allegations, that now all of a sudden on July the 23rd, now they will get a full and thorough hearing next week, and with the midterm elections looming.
Okay, but actually they won't get the full and thorough airing. They'll start to get this airing, but the possibility, because the congressman declined to say that he had done anything wrong in some kind of plea deal, in fact, that this trial, if you will, could go to a point where it would start in the week before the primary. I mean, when you call this suspicious, what does that mean to you if it doesn't mean that the leadership of the House has decided to abandon Charlie Rangel?
Well, I don't know. I can't say. I have not spoken to the leadership of the House. I don't know what their conversations or what their thought processes are. But I will say that next Thursday, all of the charges will be revealed. We will know exactly what's on the table. It's time to put cards on the table. And then the House will go on a six and a half week hiatus or break, so that members can go home and run for their various seats, whether in primaries or in general elections. And you're right, in fact, and because this Thursday will almost be like a pre-trial hearing, if you will. But Congressman Rangel is upbeat. He's very optimistic. He's happy that all of these so-called allegations will get a full and thorough hearing. And we're upbeat along with him.
Okay, you were quoted in today's Daily News, actually, of saying that the congressman never three nevers, had any intent to commit any wrongdoing, and he never directly benefited from anything that he actually has been alleged to have done. What is he alleged to have been done? For example, benefited from 4 rent-controlled apartments, or had a timeshare in the Dominican. These things seem to me to be of great personal benefit, regardless if he just forgot, if you will, to report them. I mean, didn't he personally benefit from these things?
Well, personally, I don't know what is so wrong with being able to rent apartments when you're giving the landlord money in order to, I guess, to rent these apartments. He would not have rented these apartments unless the landlord said it was all right. And believe me, I live right across the street. Charlie was paying full face value for these apartments. He was being charged what the landlord charged him for. And I've never met a landlord in New York City that says, oh, no, 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 you're paying me too much money. As far as the Dominican Republic is concerned, let me just say this, and without commenting on what have you, you know, whatever benefits, tax benefits or what have you that he's derived from the so-called Dominican Republic property, he's paid it back, and he paid it back well over a year and a half ago.
Okay, so let us assume then that this is just going to go on as it does. The political fallout for the party, as you mentioned, could be potentially fatal. I mean, we're talking, as you mentioned also, about the midterms. Already you're seeing the Republicans pressure Democratic candidates all over New York, all over the country, but in particular in New York, you've seen 2 congressional candidates, Mike Arcuri and Mike McMahon. He's on Staten Island. Arcuri is in the Utica area. Give back contributions that they got from Charlie Rangel. In addition, you're seeing Republicans pressure Chuck Schumer, pressure Kirsten Gillibrand, pressure Shelley Silver, Andrew Cuomo, not to headline this big birthday bash that Charlie Rangel is supposed to have for his 80th birthday on August 11th in the city. Don't you believe that there's going to be some fallout? They're going to try at every turn to hang him over the neck of every single Democrat who's in danger in New York.
Well, Republicans are doing what Republicans do. I certainly expect Republicans to try and make as much political hay over this situation as much as they're able to do. Let me just say this, that's politics, and that's politics in New York. As far as the contributions are concerned, I would hope that they would give back the money to Congressman Charles Rangel because that they received from him because he's probably one of the most probably the single most person responsible for bringing in a majority of Democrats in the House of Representatives when they took over in the year 2006. But I would hope that the monies that they received, those candidates that you mentioned before, that they would give it back to Congressman Rangel because he is facing some legal bills that need paying.
Do you serve on his committee to fill vacancies, is that correct?
So I'm told.
So is the time past at this point? It's too late for him to get his name off the ballot unless he passes away, runs for a judgeship, or moves out of state. Is that right?
It is too late for the committee to fill vacancies to go through whatever process they would go through. We fully expect Congressman Rangel's name to appear on the ballot. We just circulated well over 35,000 signatures in support of him. And it is too late for the committee to fill vacancy mechanism to kick in.
Do you believe he will serve out the entire 2-year term if he's reelected, unless, of course, he's ousted by his colleagues?
I do, in fact, believe that Congressman Rangel will run in September and win, and run in November and win, and I do fully expect him to serve out his term.
Before I let you go, Assemblyman, because unfortunately we're out of time, I just was curious if you had any update about the budget, because we're hearing that it's likely your House and the Senate will be back next week. The governor says if you don't come up with a two-way agreement that meets his, that he likes, on a revenue bill, that he's going to bring you back next Thursday into an extraordinary session.
I've heard that there's a very high likelihood that the governor will bring us back next week. I'm told that the Senate is supposed to come back, I believe, on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Don't know exactly when the Assembly is supposed to convene, but we are preparing for that event.
Will there be a deal?
Oh, I hope so.
Because
I certainly hope
then you
so.
can get paid, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I certainly was not going to bring it up. But, you know, let's not forget the legislators are regular people as well. Myself, this is what I do. I am a legislator, and I'm a full-time legislator. And whatever income I derive, I didn't get into this line of work to get rich, but certainly we have rents to pay and tuitions to pay just like any other citizen in the state of New York.
Well, then we'll be catching up with you when you get here in Albany. I want to thank you very much, Assemblyman Keith Wright.